Hi, this is Maury Moreland Morrison, here to tell you Geico has more than just great savings. Much more. Geico's been around for more than 75 years, back when they were using Morse code. Sorry, that's just my sense of humor. What's more, with Geico you get 24/7 access to licensed agents on the app, online, or over the phone, so you can talk to them at night or in the morning. So forevermore, just know that no other auto insurer has more than Geico. More power to you. Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.
Blogtalk Radio.
Welcome to Conversations Live, where we bring you the best in music, books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us. Now, here is your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live, where we connect you with the artists and authors you love, who bring you the music and books you can't get enough of. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. Really excited about our guest we have on the program today. Mary O'Malley is making her first appearance on our show to talk to us not only about her own journey that has led her to not only self-discovery, but also an ability to be able to help other people in their lives as well. The book that I read that she released at the end of last year is called What's in the Way is the Way, Moving Beyond Your Struggle into the Joy of Being Fully Alive. We're going to talk to Mary, who, like myself, is a suicide attempt survivor. We'll talk to her about her own journey and what it's been like for her to be able to help other people throughout her own journey as well. Mary, hello to you and welcome to the program.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here, Cyrus.
Well, really excited to have you on. I think that subtitle of the book, Mary, is important to mention, and I did not realize until I read your book that you also, like myself, I've talked about on this program, I am a suicide attempt survivor. What has it been like for you to not only realize the life that was possible for you, but also your role in making that life possible?
Oh, it's beyond words. When you live in utter darkness and you feel there is no way out, and that's where I lived, until my late 20s, and I tried to kill myself 3 times. I once gained 97 pounds in a year. I was taking every drug I could get my hands on, and I was washing a lot of it down with alcohol because the pain was so great that the only thing I knew was to try to get away from it. And when all the addictions didn't work, then I tried suicide. And I remember the last time I tried, I slit my wrists, and I can remember hating myself because I was a failure even at suicide.
Yes.
But then, when I was 27, a yoga teacher came into my life, and he came up from California. I live in the Seattle area. And he was the first person that began to teach me about curiosity. Everybody had tried to fix me, and I was the black sheep of the family. I was the broken one. And when somebody tries to fix you, all you hear is there's something wrong with me.
Exactly.
What this yoga teacher said was, there's nothing that needs to be fixed. Be curious about what's going on inside. And that was the first time in my life I could begin to move from, oh, my God, I'm so anxious. I've just got to eat something, to, oh, anxiety is here. And that was the beginning of a whole path of learning how to meet all these stories in my head with curiosity and then spaciousness. Sometimes I use the word compassion, but I really like the word spaciousness because that's what the stories need.
Exactly. You know, I think very early on in the book, and I think this is a book that people of all different backgrounds, Mary, will really be able to find something that they can use, because we talk about on this program literally every day, the 6 days we're on every week, that, you know, the reason why people are not living up to their fullest potential is because of the fear of, well, maybe this won't work, the fear of what could happen. You talk about in the book that one of the biggest mistakes we could make is to run away from fear. Can you explain that to our listeners, why that's true?
Yeah. In fact, the chapter that is about fear is fear, nothing to be afraid of. And so if we realize that at one time there were no thoughts in our head, granted, we were very little, we were wide open to life. Then slowly and surely we started creating what I call the storyteller in our head. And this storyteller is all about trying to do life and do life right. And they say, psychologists say pretty much so, that was fully formed by the time you were 6 years old. Your basic view of yourself and your basic view of life. What this man taught me when I was 27 was to be curious about that. And the more I explored it, the more I saw that it was based on fear and glued together with judgment. And then I began to notice that any time I tried to get away from it, it actually amplified it. Oh, yes, I'd be able to, do, some drugs or drink for a while, and that would calm it down, but then it would actually, get stronger. And so it's like a bear in the woods. If you run away from it, it chases after you. Right. If you turn and stand with it, and that's a lot of what this book is about, how to stand with, in curiosity and compassion, all these stories in your head that you have, that have run you your whole life.
Exactly. And I think that is the thing. And I think, too, understanding the connection. And connection is also, I think, a theme that runs throughout this book. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, you're listening to Conversations Live. I have the privilege today of speaking with Mary O'Malley. She's the author, among other work, of the book, What's in the Way is the Way. Moving beyond your struggle into the joy of being fully alive. You also address in a lot of different ways throughout the book, Mary, the importance of recognizing how disconnected we are and how important it is for us to reconnect, kind of come together. I want to actually read something that you wrote on page 123 of the book, and I think this is so true for a lot of us, and I think it's something that all of us can kind of appreciate. If you stop and truly listen to what you are experiencing in any given moment, you will see that you have a community inside made up of a cast of characters that have been with you since you were young. You go on to say this: to know the aliveness that you long for, every part of you needs to be woven back into your heart. The deep fears, anger, self-judgments, and despairs that are hidden inside of you have been with you since you were little, and just like you, they want to be seen, acknowledged, understood, and loved so they can let go. It was that part that really got me. How freeing was that for you to recognize, Mary?
Oh, completely free. Just imagine living in a complete dark ball of struggle and feeling, I lived for many years in what I call helpless, hopeless despair. Then I started being curious, and I realized, Cyrus, over the years, that there was absolutely nothing to be ashamed of or afraid of inside. These were all just stories that were created in the mind of a child in order to try to survive. And so slowly and surely, like let's take dread, for example. That was one of my main states that I tried to medicate with food and alcohol and drugs. And it's just a horrible feeling. It's the feeling that, something really bad is going to happen, and it's going to happen because you did something wrong. And it took me a while. Because we have to strengthen the muscle of our curiosity, and that's why there's a 10-week process in this book for really showing you how you can relate to these states, whether it's like dread that, I'm talking about, or extreme shame, or anger, or helplessness, or loneliness. And so that's what helps you, is to develop that muscle. And as I learned how to slowly and surely, for a moment here and a moment there, stand with dread, the energy that was bound up, because we call that a feeling, but it's really just bound up energy.
Right.
You actually set it free through the light of your accepting, interested attention. And now I travel the world, for heaven's sakes, and it's just such a joy to invite others into the joy of being fully alive, not by fixing, not by trying to understand, not by changing, not by trying to get rid of, not by judging ourselves for having these states. We all have these states. Many people are very good at hiding them.
Right.
But by learning how to have your attention and your immediate experience together. But, of course, we don't start with the big ones at the beginning. That's why in the 10-week process, we start with little things. But slowly and surely, people will be discover how to really be with these states, the states that have run them from underneath their everyday awareness their whole life, and let them just pass right on through.
You know, Mary, you also, and you just alluded to it just in that comment, I think something else that is so important. And I think as children, I think we do this a lot easier, but you really allow us to understand in the book how it's never too late, and that is to go throughout life forever curious. How has that served you well?
Oh, my goodness. This is such a magical adventure. Even a dewdrop is a magical world. And as I learned how to be curious, I was still really living in a dark ball. But just imagine those moments where you could just go, oh, anxiousness is here, rather than I am anxious. And
right.
The more that this ball of struggle began to thin, I think that's a good word to use, in my life, I began to notice life for the first time probably since I was very, very young. And then now my curiosity began to become fully evolved. And its life is so exquisitely wondrous. And every moment, even water is a very rare creation in life, and we take it for granted. We brush our teeth. We take showers. We put umbrellas up in the rain. But water is this magical creation of life, and
right.
The more that you are curious about what separates you from that, your fear, your loneliness, your not enoughness, the more that thins, and you come back to the joy of being fully alive. Now, I don't live there all the time. Life is an opening and closing process. But when life tightens again, when I tighten around life, that's the better way to say it, I'm immediately curious because I know there's something inside of me that needs my attention. And then it is set free, and then I come back again to being fully alive. And that's where joy lives. That's where peace lives. That's where ease lives, and boy, do we long for that.
Mary, isn't it true that, and especially as you talk about the storyteller, I referenced that to you before we went live here, the storyteller that is dictating to us what our story is or who we are, that it goes back to a larger point, and that is something that we do each and every moment of our lives, literally, and that is choice. That it's a choice to stay in that darkness. It's a choice to pursue the light. It's a choice to really live life, to get the most out of it, or it's a choice to remain stagnant. Isn't it, for us, really the importance of understanding the power of the choice and then moving forward from there?
To a certain extent, yes. When you have been captured by really, really negative states, and to some extent everybody is, they're just hiding it from them. You and I just had maybe more than most people. But you don't have any choice when you are in that state. But if you can hear about curiosity, then there becomes the choice about whether to be curious or not. And the more that you bring that kind of awareness into the states, the more and more you have the choice. You say, oh, that's that state. Let's say it's not enoughness. And you choose not to give it energy. You just come back to life. So I would say yes, to a point, there becomes more and more choice.
So how has it then been for you? I asked you earlier about learning these things for yourself. How has it been for you to be able to share these things with the world and to see the way the people literally around the world are responding to it?
Oh, yes. Yeah, it is. I hear this over and over again. This makes so much sense. I also hear, oh, my God, my life has changed, not by trying to fix anything, change anything, get rid of anything, but to be curious. And we're not trained to do that, Cyrus. We're trained to follow this storyteller everywhere it goes. And they say we have 65,000 thoughts a day. And if the storyteller says, I'm mad, you think you're mad. If it says you're sad, you think you're sad. When people begin to really realize the power of curiosity and compassion for these states, it is such a joy to watch them. It's like the clouds lift and the twinkle comes back into their lives. So I feel so very grateful that life showed me this path out of our addiction to struggle, and that I get to share it all over the world now.
Exactly. Showing them what is possible for all of them, and I think that's the great thing about it. Again, everyone, Mary O'Malley is our guest. She's the author of, among other work, What's in the Way is the Way, Moving Beyond Your Struggle into the Joy of Being Fully Alive. And I think that is really it, what it means to really live life, and not to be, as Mary has been talking about here, not to be, really seduced by the story of what's not possible for you, but realizing what you can do today to be able to live the life that you want. And Mary's been able to do it in her own life. She gives great examples in the book about others who've been able to do that. And then, of course, how you, by opening your awareness, can be able to do the same thing. So, Mary, how can our listeners stay in contact with you as well as get this book for themselves?
Well, it's on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. You can also get it on my website, MaryO'Malley.com, MaryO'Malley.com. And I also do phone groups and phone counseling, and I'm doing a retreat in Costa Rica. I like to always do retreats in beautiful places so that people can reconnect with that joy of being fully alive. And that's going to be in February 2015. And then 2016 in February, I'll be back and doing a retreat in Hawaii, which I've done for many, many years. I think it's the best place I've ever discovered in the world to become fully alive.
Well, that is the hope for all of us, to be able to experience that experience of being fully alive, Mary, and then, of course, to realize that we can help other people, to see it for themselves, too. And I think that's the great thing, not just experiencing it for yourself, but then, of course, being able to pass that on to others, and that's what you've been able to do in this book. Congratulations to you, Mary, not only on the book, but also the great work that you're doing, and I hope you'll come back. We'd love to stay in contact with you.
I would love to, Cyrus.
All right. We will definitely make that happen. Again, everyone, Mary O'Malley has been our guest. MaryO'Malley.com is the website for you guys to be able to go to for more information about Mary and all the great things that she's doing, as well as to find out more information about other books that she's written, including a book that someone wrote me about asking if it was the same Mary O'Malley, The Gift of Our Compulsions. And yes, it is. So you guys can find out more information about that book on her website as well. Now, if you came in late and missed part of our conversation, don't worry. Thanks to our friends at blogtalkradio.com. You guys can catch the podcast of this conversation about 3 minutes after we go off the air. All you have to do is go to our radio website at conversationsliveradio.com. That's conversations with an S, liveradio.com. Also, if you're friends with us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, the link's already available on both of those places. You can head over to facebook.com/CyrusWebb or twitter.com/CyrusWebb. Click on the link. You can listen to the show completely for free and even share it with your friends using the social media buttons you'll find there. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live today. You all make it a great one.
Yo, everybody get up! Everybody get up! Everybody needs to understand that I'm more than simply a hype man for this rap group, just like Geico is more than just a company that can save you money. Geico also has fast and friendly claim service, so they can help you when you need it most. And while I do love being a hype man, I also love reading for children's audiobooks. Like Little Bo Peep, she lost the sheep, and she don't know where to find them. Go!
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more.